Okay, we're live.
We're live?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Recording.
Recording.
Yes. Good. That's exciting. We have some new gear today. We were messing with all kinds of new studio stuff. So if Logan wants to highlight himself a wee bit here, we got a cool little.
Hey.
You can't see it though. But he's messing with an A10 Mini Pro. Put it back on me. Put it back on me. Thank you.
Sorry.
You got an A10 Mini. I'm talking with my hands. We have hands. We have video now. It's not just stuff in the background.
Normally, people have somebody doing their podcast. Like if they have this kind of stuff,
See, and he's not even talking to himself.
they're doing it. I'm on you.
You know what I mean?
See, I'm gonna be terrible at this.
So you just talk. You keep talking, and I'll like mime it. Be perfect. I think that'll work well. He pushes to himself, then forgets how to drink water. That's, okay, so here we go. So Logan, explain what we got and why we got it, and what might be occurring whilst we're doing this.
Okay, so we may have the opportunity to produce a podcast, a video podcast for a customer, and we have some equipment available, and so he wants the full shebang. He wants 3 cameras. He wants the whole 9 yards, which if you've never done any kind of video production, which I'm sure most of you have, that's a lot of work. And it's a lot of equipment, and it's a lot of time and energy and setup. If you could see what's that away.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. And the cool thing is, like Logan was about to say before he forgot how to swallow water, generally you have someone else doing this for you, but we're trying to do this live. We're trying to see what it takes to run this kind of thing, and also we thought, hey, now's a good time to try to add a little bit of flavor to the Hobby House podcast, you know?
Yeah, so if you see me over here and I like weirdly switch positions, it's because I have a mixer here, and I'm trying to do it while we...
No, you're trying to be sexy.
Talk.
You're trying to be sexy. That's what it is. You're trying to be all like flirtatious with your body movements.
No.
Okay. All right.
There's cameras. No.
That's true. That's true. It's not just our sultry man voices. They see.
Vision makes you fat, Todd.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, they see how our body undulates when we move. Not in an attractive way. Anyway, so on to why we're actually here today. Yeah, so this is episode 6 now of the Hobby House podcast.
Wow, has it been that many?
Yeah, episode 6. There's been a lot, and we actually kind of pushed out a poll again, but one of my friends, name dropping here, Mezgeik, you may have heard of him. He said that actually there was kind of something interesting that he'd like us, or like to hear about, because, you know, why else wouldn't someone who's way bigger than we are want to hear some 2 weird dudes talk about stuff? But anyway, he said his prompt would be Warhammer, like, computer games. Because as we've alluded to quite a bit, we love World of Warcraft. We love playing the game. And it's a game that we really enjoyed. But there are a lot of other games out there, especially Warhammer focused. So I know I have my few games. I know you have a few games. And we've talked a little bit about it. So let's go ahead and let's say 3, if we can think of 3. I know of 2. I might have to stretch for a third, but I'll let you go first.
Ooh.
I know, right? It's okay. It's okay.
All right. So, Warhammer Games?
Yeah.
Are we talking 40K exclusively
No,
or just
any
Warhammer universe?
Any Warhammer.
Okay, I'm going to take Vermintide then.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's not a necessary one.
Yeah, it's not a super deep game, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you can play with some friends. Something that, like, really, like, the Warhammer universe is so deep that it always kind of bumps me out when games don't have, like, this huge, arsenal of stuff and equipment and character customization, just because there's so much lore and there's so much to the universe. But for a pick 'em up, smash 'em, run around game, it's pretty fun.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a little overstimulating at times, especially for me, when, you know, you're running around and all of a sudden you're getting hook ratted off the thing, or you're like standing in the thing where you kind of explode a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, it's a lot of fun. It definitely is one of those games where having friends is a huge, I don't know, boon.
Boon?
Do we get to use boon?
Yeah.
Can we use the word boon?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm not a pirate.
I think we're nerdy enough to use the word.
Okay, I'm not a
boon.
pirate, but
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah, it's definitely one of those games where having friends, people you know, is a huge boon. Okay.
Yeah. No, it is. It's a lot of fun. You get on like Discord together.
Yeah.
You chat. No, it's a lot of fun. Yep. Yep. So I guess that'd be my first one.
Okay, Vermintide. Vermintide 1 or 2. Did you say 2 specifically? Or is it like a...
Well, yeah, kind of the series. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, 2 is what obviously the newest one.
Yeah.
But and I thought their Chaos Realms update was pretty interesting. Kind of it's like randomly generated, and then you like adventure through. Again, it's kind of shallow, but it added something new to a game that was you could kind of get bored of.
Yeah.
There just were a ton of levels, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, for a basic hack and slash, I mean, it's one of those
Yeah.
it's like when I was younger, there was a game called Gun on Xbox. I'm not sure if you ever played it.
I did,
like
yeah.
Red Dead Redemption, kind of a Red Dead
Yeah.
Revolver, and then Gun came out.
But even more edgy.
Oh, way! It's like the game that I definitely shouldn't have been playing, but I always said it was way less than it actually was because I was good about when my parents would walk into the room. So I'm like, maybe I'm gambling at the saloon, and
I'm
leave.
helping this little old lady.
Exactly. Then they leave, and now I'm sticking horses with dynamite arrows. And everyone's exploding. Then you have these people just running through the street, and you're like, oh no, tomahawk. And it's like, what is this teaching us? But I said hack and slash, mindless fun.
Yeah.
Some say violence. I say that is a fun game, but obviously I would never do that. Okay. Just put it out there.
I'm not a psycho.
I'm not crazy, but it is fun.
It is fun.
Okay.
What's your game? Because Gun wasn't.
No, it's
on
not
the
Warhammer.
list.
Okay, so you have Vermintide, right?
Yeah.
And I think I know what your second one's going to be. I hope. My introduction to Warhammer games was Dawn of War. The old RTS, much like StarCraft, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I loved not knowing that it was like what Warhammer. That's a cool game. Who are these not Protoss? That is StarCraft. Who are these Tau and the Kroot people? What is this all about? I liked the in-game mechanics of, there's a crater. Let's move my guys in there. So now they have cover. Let's move that was kind of a step up above the StarCraft.
Yeah.
Because, that one, you could kite people a little bit around stuff, but it wasn't like I'm using cover to my advantage that can explode and now I have no cover. And
Right. At the end of the day, it's mashing mobs, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun, especially the Sister of Silence versus the Chaos, because they always had the crazy rhinos. Where the Sister of Silence rhino has the giant pipe organ, and then the Chaos stuff has horns everywhere, and it was a lot of fun. So I liked that. I was never good at it, but I did like it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I never really got into those. Somehow I missed those completely until the third one came out, and then it got totally review bombed, and everybody hated it because they made it too simple and got away from the roots. What I heard, I don't know. I think I own it, but I haven't played it.
Well, I've played it, and for someone that wasn't very good at the other game, it's not too simple for me. Okay. It's not too easy for me. It's not a game that I'm like, this is I do struggle. I am stuck on a level, but I like it. I mean, I really do like it. It's it's orcs versus space marines, and that's cool because I love orcs and space marines. And I thought that the voice acting was pretty good. I thought that the cutscenes were really good, and I'm not someone that really succumbs to a lot of other people's hype. It's if I enjoy it, I enjoyed it, but I'm kind of not really.
Well, and that's the difference between being bought into a franchise or vested into a franchise and just casually
Dipping your
engaging
toes.
with it. Yeah, exactly. Because I think you've probably experienced that in your gaming past, right? Where you have a franchise that you absolutely love and you love almost everything about it, and then they're we're gonna reach for that wider audience thing, and totally.
I mean, hearkening back to why we have this in the first place, World of Warcraft. That's I
Yes,
mean, you
yeah,
know,
that one's
not to be a, but I think there's a broken violin, a fiddle, a thing.
a
thing.
tiny violin.
Well, that's the when you're complaining. Broken record, a broken record that goes on and on. Okay, gotcha. But not to be one of those, right? But World of Warcraft was something that, like, I got into it in college with a really good friend, and we started playing. And like that was back when you had to have your party and you had to run back and forth, and like there was no quality of life anything, right? There was still that massive talent tree. There's still all this other stuff. Reforging, it was like, oh, I guess I needed to invest my entire bankroll into like respecking because that was insane and go.
And you could literally like read entire web pages dedicated to like the theory craft of your attribute points and where they go, and like, well, this is gonna give you the best, you know, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Or you could be like me and like, eeny, meeny, miny, that one, right?
Death Knight and male.
Yeah, Death Knight and intellect male, and I had some kind of weird healing thing, but it was good. It was or like gray. I was like, they're like the gray armor just because it had a higher armor stat. Yeah, real good. That was me, baby. But when they started making, your talent tree is now, you only have 5 things to choose from, and you're level 120 or whatever. Well, that's kind of sucky. Like now you don't really feel like it's your character. It's like you're one of these molds. You're not like your own special thing that you spent all this. Anyway,
Explosion.
But your own special thing.
Yeah.
But they took that away, and then they appealed to like the quick groups. They appealed to the making things easier, but in the end, they just allowed weirdos to be lame and not good team players, you know, and that's unfortunate.
They allowed weirdos to be lame.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else do you want from me? What else do you want? That's exactly what it is. They allowed you to hide behind anonymity, and they only really did that so that they could get new players in the game because there was a skill curve, cap, limit, there's a word for that. There was that thing. And some people that it felt like it's hard to get into when there's so much to learn. But in reality, if you're already like into the game and you're already like invested, you've grown with the game. And the best way to do it is to level 1, play the game. Yeah, sure, you're a few years behind, but this whole buy your way to top level, that really screwed everything up.
That sucked. Yeah, that really did suck. And I did buy some.
But there's a difference.
Sucked.
But there's a difference because if you buy your way to top level, having played the game, you know how to play.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, at least my experience with that was I wanted those characters, but I never played those characters. Like, I tried them, but, like, I hadn't ground them up.
Yeah.
So there was
you haven't grinded on them, yes.
Yeah, I haven't been grinding on them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there was no like, I don't know, there wasn't as much as a connection. But like that's just a play style, right? Like some people, it's not like that for them. But
it's not a buy-in.
Right.
You're not invested. You know, it's not something that you've put your time into. But you also haven't learned your class. You haven't learned your role. Like, what was the crappiest thing about the buy-ins is everyone, they bought it, and obviously it put them like, 10 gear score below what was required to go do raids, and so it's a couple dungeons. And now these guys are tanking or healing raids.
Having never played, well, and a lot of them, because they gave the free boost when you bought the expansion. Because I remember that.
It was an incentive to buy the expansion.
Yeah, was that? We're off topic, but was that Panda?
Well, Panda was the first one I realized.
Or was that Warlords? One of them.
Yeah.
Or Legion. One of them. The first time they did that, I remember LFR became unplayable.
Yeah.
Unplayable.
I don't think it was Panda. I think it was Warlords of Draenor. I think it was Draenor. There was so much going on in the game, and they tried because they lost so many people due to all these unkept promises, which we'll come back to because it's an important part of gaming. But because they lost people because of unkept promises, they offered this whole like, ooh, if you get the expansion, you get a free boost. And it was like, oh, okay, well maybe I'll try it, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that was a huge diversion.
Huge.
I think all of that was just to say, if games have a level, if companies have a level of invested like buy-in from the player, they're not going to be hugely impacted by someone else's negative review. They're willing to give it a better chance than someone who kind of dips their toes into it and just like, meh, not for me.
Weren't we making the opposite point?
I don't think so. Is
That,
that what you were saying?
well, well, that if you have something, you have a game, and the concept and the mechanics are something people love, then if you go and swap that around, not add to it, not refine it, but just switch it to try to appeal to a wider audience, dumb it down, whatever you want to call it, then
Oh, okay.
that's where you get a lot of
Okay.
the hate because people are so invested.
So, okay.
Whereas somebody like you comes along and it's like, I played the first one or the second, it was number 2, right?
Sure.
I think so.
Of what? Dawn of War?
Dawn of War. Yeah.
Yo, yeah,
Dawn
sure.
of War 2.
Yeah.
That'd be about the right time. Where you come along and you're like, I played the first one, you have some memories of it, but you didn't know anything about, you weren't heavily invested in it and the lore. And so
You calling me a toe dipper, bro? You calling me a toe dipper right here? You're right. He's right.
Mr. I swapped games, Super
Yeah.
Nintendo games every 5 minutes.
Okay, well, it hasn't changed, all right? I haven't, as a person, I haven't grown. I have not changed at all. So what can I say?
Hard,
Okay.
bored.
All right.
Next.
All right. Well, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, and it's correct. So
Okay, so you had the Dawn of War.
I had Dawn of War. Yep. So
Okay.
you're sitting at Vermintide. I'm at Dawn of War.
Yeah.
Your next one.
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say Mechanicus. No, you're going to say, you're not going to say Mechanicus. That's going to be your number 3. You're going to say the Warhammer, the thing, the giant world one that you always wanted me to play, but I sucked at every single time. It's a thing where there's, I don't know what it's called.
You're going to have to be more specific.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah, no.
just because I'm not good at playing games, I mean.
The Total War.
Total War. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Total War.
Total War. That's the one. Yeah.
Total War.
Total War. Total War. Exactly.
Yeah, the Total War series. Yeah. Yeah, they got real nutty with those. I kind of gave up after number 2. I think they just released number 3 a little while ago. But well, part 3. It was all supposed to be one game, and it's where they're like, oh, but that's expensive, and we're gonna
We can milk it.
we can milk it and cut the features up. Like, it's a pretty fun game.
Yeah.
But it's funny because if you look back at the previous Total War series, like going back quite a ways, they've actually lost mechanics through every iteration. And
You think it's just for ease of, game, not really breaky? Like,
game not really breaking.
there's a word for that, and I don't know it.
Yeah, so the original Total
War. Yep.
The original ones, if my understanding is correct, the developer, it was the same team. And then eventually it got either handed off or they lost people. And the new people coming in didn't know how to maintain the features. And so as time went on, new developments, then they kind of had to keep, like as their engine kept changing,
Yeah.
they had to keep kind of stripping stuff out because it would break and they didn't know how to fix it.
Right.
And it was cheaper just to not put anything in. Now, I could be totally wrong. That's just what I've heard. So,
Really old grapevine.
You don't have like a bunch of the wall mechanics, and it's just really dumbed down compared to what it used to be.
Yeah.
But but still, it's a lot of fun. The different races and all their different units and the heroes and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. I'm not very good at it. I do okay at the battles, but like
the strategery, the garrison control, building that kind of stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
well, like the
or?
overworld map. Like I restart after like an hour every single time because I'm like, oh, I could have done that better. So then I restart, and then I do that until I get burnt out, and I'm like, I want to go play something.
Right. Okay. Okay. So throwing shade at the cartridge changer here, Senor restarting a massive, basically reenacting of a massive world war.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
That's the bad part about having video now.
Yeah.
You
We can't be
turn
just
off
be
your
checking our
phones
phones. We can't just be like picking our noses and stuff. Oh man.
It's business stuff. I'm gonna take.
Okay. Well.
Whoop, that's not what I meant to type.
You just texted something funny and it tickled me.
Oh, and it did it twice.
Yep.
Thank you, autocorrect. You knew I wanted to say tut tut.
Perfect. Awesome. And no, we're not texting each other, weirdos.
Group text.
Group text.
Aren't they wonderful?
They never end.
All right.
This is my number 2.
Your number 2?
My number 2. Okay. So actually, there's a lot of games that I like. And this one's kind of a newer one. I think it's called Battle Sector. Okay. So it came out a while ago, about 6-7 months ago. And it started off with Blood Angels versus the Tyranid. And that one's pretty cool because it's not like the RTS games where you click these guys and you send them over. There's, you have distances per squad strength. You can overcharge your weapons.
Is it turn-based?
It's turn-based, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it's pretty cool. It's turn-based, and so you get to build your army. You get to place them however you want. You have like, I want a scissor formation over here. I want to cut these guys off over here. Oh, there's a tier. You took too long. A new Tyranid invasion comes in, and so there's objectives. It's beautiful. Like the weapons sound. I just hit my microphone. The weapons sound awesome. The voice acting is cool. The models look great. And it's just a lot of fun. I mean, you have Tyranids exploding, blood everywhere, and like the bolters sound like girthy, meaty bolt.
How they need to sound.
Pow, 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 pow. It's like doosh, 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 doosh. And then your plasmas, like, yes, that could probably burn a hole through something or explode yourself. It's a lot of fun. A lot of strategy goes into it. So
it's kind of fleet-based too, right? Like, you choose like which battles. Like, it has an overworld, right? It's not like you're stuck on one planet, or are you on one planet and you just
there's like a mission chain, at least as far as I got. There's like a mission chain, and so you're on a planet, and so first it's this objective, then that objective, and this objective. My next game is that fleet map, consequence, Mass Effect type system. That's my primo game.
That's the third one.
My primo game is the one I haven't talked about yet. That's got the fleet mechanics. That's got all that awesomeness. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. All right.
So the Battle Sector I played for like a couple months.
Okay.
It came out. There was literally no hype. Literally no one talked about it. But as far as the actual game goes, as far as actually enjoying my time behind it, I'd say that one and Space Marine are tied. Because Space Marine, you're going in there, you're ripping into orcs. It's fun. But there's not really strategy. There's definitely a clear path as far as where you need to go. There's
it's linear.
Very linear, exactly. So I liked the game. It's old. Space Marine's kind of old. This one's new. So like the pros and cons of each one, put them both at a steady 2.
I think it would be kind of unfair though, not to like disclaimer that you find joy in almost every game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Like.
Oh yeah.
Like
definitely. I find joy in a lot of things. I mean, I'm a simple guy. Does it move? Does it make loud noises? And does it look cool? Okay. 10 out of 10. Yeah. You put something shiny in front of me, spin it a little bit. I'll give it a 10 out of 10.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not the best judge of these. I'm not like you wouldn't want me as a game critic because then like I want Trevor to judge my games, please.
Yeah. No, this is fun. It crashed 10 times.
But it was great before it crashed.
But it was fun before it crashed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was great. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that those two would be my number 2. Only because my number 1 is like
Well, you started. So hit us with number 1.
Well, no, you gotta go.
For number 1?
Well, wouldn't it be your
It would be a third. But like it sounds like number 1. No, number 3 means number 1.
I definitely messed us up. I definitely changed it from the beginning to now. So I want.
Is it your favorite?
So
Is that what
my
number
third
3?
game is my number 1 game.
Okay.
My third on the list to build hype and suspense is my number 1 game. Because you probably went like bada bing and then meh. And I was like, oh, give him the scraps. And then the steak. Right? I mean,
I was double checking my hypotenuse.
Yeah, if you could, please.
Okay. Yes. So
now just give me your garbage game, I guess.
Well, I mean, Mechanicus is in there.
Mechanicus, I guess. I mean, if I'm just pooping out a game here.
No, I like Mechanicus. I didn't know these were like
rated.
I didn't know. I didn't know there was a rating system.
Choose 3. Oh, 0 rating system whatsoever.
Yeah, I was just like, hey,
I know of these 3 games.
That's the topic. We're just talking about.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Warhammer games we've played. I'll be honest with you. Like, I am disappointed in most. Well, I'm not so much into the Warhammer
in life.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm a jaded old man. That's well known. But no, but in especially the 40K universe.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the idea of having a lot of turn-based mechanics, kind of based off of the game, right? Like how you would play the board game.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of a fun overlap. I mean, it could be an overlap.
It is,
you know,
but almost every single one of them does it.
Yeah.
And like, I really enjoyed Space Marine.
Yeah.
Because it was visceral, and you got to be the Space Marine. Yeah. Right. You got to be Captain. Captain Titus?
Titus Philemon, someone.
Yeah, somebody like that.
Yeah. He got demoted. He got Primarisized and then demoted in Space Marine 2. I don't know what that's all about.
I don't know either. Hasn't come out yet, right?
It's coming out soon.
Is it?
Soon, yeah.
Oh.
And by soon could be anything.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, even the ones that have like like Deathwing.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Deathwing, a lot of fun, but a lot like Vermintide.
Mm-hmm.
Not real deep. More of like a hack and slash with your buddies, kind of.
Doom, yeah, kind of a.
Yeah, which I don't know. The Warhammer universe is so customizable, as in there's so many options.
Yeah.
It would be really, really cool to see somebody come out with a game where you, even if you played like as an Inquisitor or something like that, right? And go ahead.
Well, and Darktide. I mean, Darktide is like Vermintide. I mean, they didn't really change the name very much. It's the same concept. You have your squad. But,
right.
I mean, here there is at least more character customization. There's a lot more that is going into that portion of it where it actually feels like you're a guy, not just like, oh, I have this class of a guy. It's like, this is my dude. You know, and then you have your stuff. And so, like, it's basically a Vermintide, but 40K, not fantasy. So that looks pretty interesting. But, I mean,
I'll be curious to see how that one turns out. Because they talked about adding more customization into it. But, like, it would be really, really cool to have, like, almost an open world experience to some extent where you could engage with the world in not a very restricted, like...
tube.
You are a Space Marine. You are Dark Angels. Yuck.
Right. Basically chaos.
Basically traitors.
Yeah.
No, but like, here's your squad. You can change your badges.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Ooh,
like,
change your trim color. Woohoo!
Right? I mean...
We're custom.
You could have all that stuff and, like, choose your... What do you want to be? Like, who's your character?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just almost RPG-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories you could tell.
Well, the thing about the Warhammer universe is that there's so much potential. And it feels like companies, they latch onto one tiny aspect of it and they take off. Like, I think it's Necromunda Hired Gun. I loved that game. I just literally remembered it right now. So now I have 4. But I loved that game because it felt, I mean, and as you're going through, you're upgrading your stuff. So now you can jump higher, you can shoot better, you find better stuff. Like, you engage with the world around you in that, like, well, now I can, like, mega punch this box and kill somebody. I can jump over this thing and land on somebody. Like, it was a lot of fun. And you have your cyber mastiff, and you can send him out. But like, that was really cool because I never even played any Necromunda games. But that was so cool in that, like, I played that before I played Dark Vermintide, and you're rolling through and you're picking up bolters and you're picking up chain swords and you're doing all this stuff. And going from turn base, it felt very Space Marine-ish, but a lot more. The maps were a lot bigger. Everything was a lot bigger, a lot more expansive. And then your abilities are just crazy. What you can do toward the end. I mean, all these additional things, and like the stim packs you can take. They give you all kinds of weird abilities, las drogas, if you will. But it was a fun game. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about this several times. We've gone off on nerd rants multiple times about if someone just like did that justice, you know.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'll just say my last game so we can say it, and then we can dig into like if Logan and I made a Warhammer game, what would it look like? Yeah, so my number one game is Chaos Gate. It is so cool. It is also turn-based. It's a lot of fun, but your actions are awesome. You can, like, shoot a grenade on a catwalk, and the guy falls in fire, and he dies. Like, the Overwatch, the mechanics here, like, you charge, and you knock over a statue, and it falls on somebody, and then they fall over, and they explode, and, like, it's a lot of fun. It looks really good, and it has that fleet mechanics situation where, you know, you choose the world you're going to go to, and then if you go over here, well, now this world's going to get infected because you only have a certain amount of time.
Right.
And so you have to kind of pick and choose your plan. And then as you're successful, you can like requisition new armor, new guys, better stuff. But if you fail, you can't heal your guys. Like if your guys get injured in battle, it takes time for them to heal up. It's not just like, oh, we're good.
Right. It's not a no-brainer. That's Grey Knights, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Lot of fun. I mean, just because it's Grey Knights versus Nurgle, Death Guard,
okay.
Chaos Cultist stuff. So it's a lot of fun, and like guys, like when bolters hit, they go blah, and like they explode like bolters should do, and you're chopping dudes in half. It's really really cool. It's a lot of fun. I've already made tons of mistakes, but it's still a fun game. So like if I were to stream a game, that'd probably be the one I like because it's so cool. Even though yes, it's kind of controlled and within boundaries, it's still like that's a cool thing. Like it's still
like you get
cool,
that set up and you're like, oh yes, yes, run under that, yes.
And then your guy trips or something, or someone shoots the barrel in front of you, didn't realize it was explosive,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then your guy's like, you know, so you know.
Well, that I would love to see if, and it would be a really big endeavor, but take it and you don't have to be like a Space Marine, right? You could even be like a cultist, right? Where you like there's so many options because like you could go the cultist route where you are doing things in like a hive city, right?
Yeah.
Which the scale would make, I mean, hive cities are massive, but the scale would make sense because you're just a human, right?
Dealing with human problems.
But like, but if you had option, like, and you could pick which chaos god you would start causing havoc for, right?
Yeah.
And like,
you did enough stuff with other people, and now you've summoned the Black Legion, or you've summoned the Death Guard, or whatever, and they show up to the world.
Well, right, and you have to like work up to it and cause chaos, or like if you want, like I think an Inquisition game would be awesome. Would be really really cool, like almost like a Red Dead Revolver style overworld.
Okay.
Where you kind of have the freedom to bounce around and do different things, or like The Witcher.
Okay.
Right, The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Style, but you're like tracking down different cases, you're tracking down different heretical groups, you're getting in these massive fights, you know what I mean?
But it's like you're interacting with NPCs that are also interacting with other real world players. And so like you as an Inquisition, if you're able to like track down these other players who are chaos, maybe you can thwart their plans, maybe you can
Yeah, I mean that would be an even bigger game.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm talking massive, dude. Let's make
okay.
it. Let's make it like.
Dreaming's free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Dreaming is definitely free.
Well, yeah, cause so like my thought was definitely smaller than that. In that
Okay.
you have you have quests and stuff like that, but you develop your character based on what you're doing, right?
Okay.
Like how you're doing it, and that changes your rank in the Inquisition, which gives you access to more stuff, right? And just some intrigue in the Inquisition, like the Ordos Hereticus or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, um, I don't know. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Almost
But
like Fable, where
yeah,
depending on how you do your quests, if you do it like in your nice, then you might have like some you have like blessings from the church because you're doing good things for the emperor. But if you're kind of like meh, and you're like beating people up or whatever, then maybe you have this terrible like people are looking at you funny, and then yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
have
well,
like a-
because you have I mean, in the lore you have the different branches.
Yeah.
Like you have the religious branch, and you have the
Xenos, Hereticus, Malleus, or those
oh
orders
right.
and stuff.
But I mean, you have like the government, you have the council, and then you have the whole. Wow, I'm like totally blanking on the name.
Like the houses, like the big
No,
houses of
no,
power.
like the freaking religion of the emperor. I can't remember the name. That's like it. Never mind. Never mind. My
the
brain's not
religion
working.
of the emperor.
Emperor worship. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got you. It's
Like they own their own planets.
It's gonna literally pop inside of my head at every weird time.
yeah.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. And there's always like the
where they
struggle of
worship the
power.
emperor, yeah,
they're
yeah.
not allowed to have. That's why they have the Sisters of Battle, because they're not
Yeah.
allowed to have a standing male army.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got you. I feel you.
Anyways, but the intrigue between all
Yeah.
those, right? Yep.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Well, how about you've played For Honor, right? So
Yeah.
I like finding things that work in games and like maybe it'd be kind of cool to bring that into a big cross-mogenation of a game, right?
Yeah.
So like For Honor, you have a giant, massive, weekly revolving faction war, right? You go on a map, and like let's say if this were our game, let's say have multiple maps. This map is the Blood Angels versus Tyranid. This map is the Orcs versus Ultramarine. Sorry. Space Wolves, because Ultramarines are back doing all the paperwork. But so you have the people that are actually doing stuff, like the Blood Angels or the Space Marines or the Guard. Cadia will never fall, even though it did. But you have these people, and each map is its own set of like capture points, rules. It's like maybe you're like reenacting the fall of Cadia. Maybe you're but like maybe this time, if enough Guard players go in there and defend these strongholds, maybe just maybe Cadia doesn't fall this week.
Are you talking like a Battlefront kind of feel? Like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hate to say it, but Star Wars Battlefront, but like where it's this active, just 50, 100-man battle between different factions, and you have points you're trying to take, like match.
Yeah. Well, it's there's Battlefront did that. In World of Warcraft, it was the Battle for Ashran, which is that like never ending. It every single week it would restart, but there's always like a continuous PvP. You could always zone in, zone out. And then For Honor, you have your massive world map that every week reset, and then the Victor, the Victor, would get points, and they can upgrade their stuff, like that kind of stuff, where you have this. But like your character, say you're a Space Marine and you come in and you like at the beginning of the week you're a private or an initiate, and then you've done enough stuff through that week that you get promoted. So then the next week. And it's for a season, so then for the next week, now you're a corporal, and you're running through, and you're collecting stuff, and now you have more, like you can call in artillery now. You can get gear, you can support, you can actually, then as you get promoted again, you can like inspire forces around you. But now you can either be like a leader, or you can go to like the...
like a specialist?
Or like a specialist, or like a psyker. Like maybe you hit sergeant rank and you can either go sergeant and get more like inspirational stuff. You can do like a chaplain. You can do like that kind of stuff, right? So then as that season goes on, you know, you ended season 1 as like
An whole army of chaplains.
a chaplain, right? But like you would be a chaplain, and then I would be like a wolf lord or whatever, and we'd roll together, and we'd each have our own ways to inspire our own little armies, you know. And that would be like maybe you're an orc. Someone comes in as
cool.
just a random boy, and then by the end of it, there's like individual rankings. So like by the end of it, someone is named war boss for the final battle. Like one person for the Space Marine side could be named chapter master, so you get to dictate what particular battles that you're going to do for that final battle, and then war boss does the same thing.
I love that idea. Because especially if you start the season all as like grots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so the more kills
you're literally getting
get,
like kicked around by the orc players. Like there's an option, press E to kick grot, you know, like
yeah, and like you can like get on the rocket that you fly into the Space Marine tank, you know.
5 experience points.
Yeah,
30 more times, and now you can be the guy
you
pulling
could have
the
so
trigger.
much fun with that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But then like say that the next one is, you know, Space Marines, then you have like guard versus chaos cultist. So like it's different. The numbers are different. The weight or the feel of the battle is different. You know, then you can get like in tanks and stuff like that. The possibilities that exist in this grimdark future are huge. And like
they are.
But it's such a shame when these companies make like trading card games out of it, or there's no weight. There's no weight to anything.
Yeah. Or they just make the game digital.
Yeah.
Right, the actual game that exists, they just turn it into a digital product, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine, but like every game does not need to be a turn-based. Like you have the whole, let's just call it like the I mean, I guess Battlefront is kind of Battlefront, For Honor, that kind of feel like you were talking about, right? And then you have kind of the Witcher adventure, which I think would play really, really well with like the whole darkness that Inquisitors kind of run across, right? And
well,
then
like, a game like Initiate into like the Space Marines.
Yeah.
Like, what if you're just a dude, and then you have to like survive this long process,
go through the trials of like,
and
like
sometimes you just randomly die.
Yeah.
You did not work. Like,
well, dude, imagine that. Imagine that as a like Dark Souls style, right? Where it's this brutal, hard, like adventure again, but it's a lot more technical, right? And darker, and like maybe you're one of the Istvan survivor. You know what I mean? Like something just, I don't know. Yeah, there's so many genres it could play in. Like it could play in almost all the genres, right? Like, and they just kind of seem to stick to one.
See, it's because it's what level of drive and engagement they're willing. Is that trade-off, right? Let's make something quick that checks a few of these boxes, and we're gonna get about that much level of engagement. That's enough to pay for the next game, right? But like, see, and I have another one. It's a game within a game, right? So you're a neophyte or you're an initiate.
Okay.
And then you like get laid on the table and they start the surgery, right? Then you have to play mini games. And each mini game is a test in your mind. And if you pass, congrats, now you have 2 hearts. Now you have 3 lungs. But if you fail in a mini game, your guy's dead, and they just yeet him out of the thing into like a human.
I'm
like, but like, if you got really far, now you're a servitor, or now you're a floating skull,
and then you just spend the rest of the game like that.
That's the whole game. There's no chance to restart, because how can a servitor restart a game? They can't.
They can't. No, one life. You get one.
YOLO. That's what it's gonna be called.
You only get one.
YOLO. Warhammer 40K. The first thing, you slip, trip, and fall, and you're dead.
I don't see why they wouldn't make that game. Instant classic.
Instant success. But no, it's all about the level of engagement. You know, I think that Games Workshop and Warhammer is such a huge name, such a heavy name. There's so much attached to it. Decades of love and decades of community involvement that to just slap it on and reskin another previous game and call it the next game is really a shame. You're really cutting a lot of actual value for the sake of, well,
How do we not have a mech game where you're like the pilot of a big Stompa or you know,
or a
like,
Dreadnought.
or a Dreadnought, right? A Titan, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do we not have that? That would be awesome.
Oh my word, that'd be sick.
With the physics and the graphics we have now.
And you'd look down and there's like Space Marines, but they look tiny. I'm sorry, I just crushed 400 of you. Brr, brr, brr.
Yeah, like that would be amazing. Like
Yeah.
just massive plasma cannons going through buildings and huge chains. That,
Yeah.
Like but they came out with like the mobile game, right, on the phone.
Mech Arena. Oh, you're talking like the Knights one where it's like
Yeah.
a PvP? Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No offense to people that like games on their phone, but like,
Prepare to be offended.
why would you? It's money, right? It's
Yeah.
microtransactions. It's money. It's a tap like a game like that about knights,
Yeah.
dude. There's
I
so
agree.
much. You can customize so much about that.
Yeah.
That could be brutal.
Yeah. Put it on me real quick. And that brings today's sponsor,
Get ready to raid.
Raid Shadow Legends. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, it was too good. It was too good to pass up.
yeah.
Oh man,
Shadow
because like
Legends.
everyone's being sponsored by them.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean?
Well, you actually play
I
it.
do play Raid, but that's all I'm gonna say.
peasant.
That's it. Peasant.
Peasant.
That's all I'm gonna say. I do play that game. Period. But no, like, but you know, I can sit down on my phone while I'm putting my kids to bed and play a game. I can't always run to my computer and play a game, and you know that more than anyone. You know that I am the worst when it comes to scheduling game time. Always.
Well, yeah, but I mean, look, I don't
We
care
should
if you.
strive for better things.
I don't care what you put on the phone.
Yeah.
But as long as you give it to like the game community as a game, right?
Yeah.
Not a phone game, not just a phone game.
Diablo Immortal.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Dude,
that went over so well.
I remember that announcement, and it was just like, he's kidding.
It was so salty. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That was just the salt lick of people.
Everyone has a phone, right? Okay. Okay. Next thing is like Diablo, the bathtub game. Everyone has a bathtub, right? Like,
My favorite one is the guy. So is this gonna come out for computers or consoles? Like that just sealed his fate.
yeah.
No. What?
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye. I mean, and it's the funny thing is, I tried downloading it to see what it's about. I have not enough space on my phone. Period. And I'm not getting rid of like my one game that I play.
Pictures of your children.
No, those are the first things gone. Let's be real. I have the cloud.
I live with you every day.
Yeah,
Come on.
and I've seen you. I've seen
I
you
know
grow.
what you look like.
But have you seen Diablo on the phone? Neither have I, because I can't, because it's 40 gigs or whatever the nonsense, you know.
Oh,
stupid.
not bashing. Like whatever, dude. You do
No, I'll
you.
bash them. I don't mind bashing.
Well,
Oh,
I'll
people.
bash the company.
Oh, okay, not the
right.
people.
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you do you. If you like phone games, good, great. Play a phone game. That's
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
If that makes you happy, great. If that's all you have time for, great. Whatever. But
Don't sacrifice.
if you take the
PC
unit,
Master Race.
yeah, don't sacrifice the PC Master Race. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, for that quick moolah cash buck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about that, making that. But, like we've talked about before, if you engage the community and you give them what they want, and you create a loyal fan base, you will get more scratch.
Yeah. It's just time. It's just investment. It's just what is it worth to you? When you have new teams taking over that didn't think of that game in their mama's basement 20 years ago, that didn't have to scrounge all of their money to make something work and then have it suck and then fix it and then have that suck and then fix it. Like if they haven't done all that whole process, much like World of Warcraft, if you didn't grind your character all the way from beginning to the time when you're sitting there and you're like actually trying to enjoy the rewards and benefits, you're just paying, or you've just come on when it's already successful. You don't have that dedication to it. Just because you're a fan doesn't mean that you're going to have that, like, oh man, like that's a big chunk of change to make this fix, to make this work. And when Blizzard decided to change that with World of Warcraft, when they didn't deliver on their guild houses, when they didn't deliver on all the stuff they promised for Warlords of Draenor, because of money, because of time, because they said all these promises and then bailed, that was when it's like, what happened? Oh, people are changing, people are leaving, people, like, there's enough going on there that they're not willing to invest in the people that they are, that they're convincing to invest in the company. And then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, games are like jobs in that you don't leave your job most of the time. You leave your boss or your leadership.
Yeah.
Right? Like games have similar investment where you really love the lore or you really enjoy the mechanics in the game, but then the company makes promises, doesn't keep them, or they try to go for the wider audience. And it's like, you know what? I don't love the mechanics or the lore enough to put up with you,
Right.
as a company,
Right. Yeah. So I mean, we've said the games we like. We've basically just created the best game ever, right?
I think we had like three titles in there that were just.
So Games Workshop as a whole, okay. If you're watching this, because we know you are. We demand, what are the rights? Are they called rights? Privileges?
I would demand rights.
I think as Americans, we're due a certain set of rights. But
Intellectual rights? Intellectual properties.
So when you realize this is fantastic, and when you bring your team on and you want to make these games, we can't make it for you, but it was our idea.
We have no skills.
No, none. I can think all day long. When it comes to doing, back off, all right? But I'll help you. You get a team that can do it, I'll say, yeah, that's good. This game is like Andy from The Office.
Yeah.
That food tastes bad. That movie was bad. Like, I could do that all day long. I could judge all day long.
Don't let him be your critic.
I would love everything.
He loves everything.
I would. Is that a grot? No, it's a garbage can. I love it. I love garbage cans.
It's wonderful.
It's fantastic. Look at it moves. Why does it move? Oh, it's broken. Oh, it's broken.
That's actually a bug.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. Keep it. Keep it in.
It's a Trojan horse. Fantastic. It works so well.
My whole computer's on fire.
But I love it. But no. So, yeah, when you want to make the Witcher version of an Inquisitor game, contact us. When you want to make the For Honor / just basically every component that probably takes years and years just to master that one into one game, contact us. And we'll be there with you. We'll hold your hand, and we'll not let you ruin it. We'll not let you make a mistake. We have no say. Anyway. I'm getting ahead of myself, and by ahead of myself, I mean beyond the realm of possibility. But those games would be cool.
They would be cool.
They would be cool.
It'd be awesome.
Okay, so Mezgeik, thank you so much for the
Suggestion.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. And I hope that if you are someone who's not Mezgeik and you're just watching this, that you also appreciated our banter, our conversation. And if you have a favorite game that you like, put it in the description below. If it's on YouTube, Spotify, I don't know how you can comment on that, but just go to YouTube and then comment on it. It'd be great. We'd love to learn more about games you love and why you love them. Anything else, bud?
If you're a fan of RimWorld, there's a lot of mods for 40K stuff in RimWorld.
Isn't RimWorld like that, like 8-bit, maybe 16-bit game? What is
the best game ever? Goodbye.